DiMignani here at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts, doing the junkyard crawl with a little something from Germany. This is a 1985 Mercedes Benz 380 SE. Now this is the W126 platform, which was in production from 1979 through 1991, a pretty long run. These were styled by an Italian designer who worked for Mercedes Benz named Bruno Sacco, who is 88 years old this year and still alive and well. But one of Bruno Sacco's design languages was thematic horizontal homogeneity and vertical affinity. And one thing he brought to Mercedes was the horizontal plastic lines from the bottom 190 all the way to the 560, the 450 SL, etc., were all part of Bruno Sacco's design language. More on that in a second. Now this one, is it a diesel? Is it a gas? Well, diesels were very popular, the 300 SE, but this is a 380, so that tells us it's got the 3.8 liter gas V8. Now, a lot of folks remember Mercedes-Benz, you know, in the 40s and the 50s and in the 60s as being 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder, but we got to remember, in 1963, large Mercedes vehicles had a 6.3 liter V8. And of course, Mercedes V8s have been in production, again, since 1963. The beauty of them is they're all overhead cam. You can see the overhead cam cover here, the chain drive inside, no push rods. These had iron blocks until you get into 1978, and then of course all aluminum heads and blocks, so way ahead of Detroit in terms of mass-produced aluminum V8s. Now again, this one is a 3.8, there was also a 4.2, a 5.0, a 5.6, even a 6.9 used in those Pullman Mercedes limousines in like 1975 in that area, but the 6.9 is a Mercedes-Benz legend. But again, this is its little brother, the 3.8. Now this car does have optional ABS, the anti-lock braking, which was standard on the 500 SE and the 560 SE, but optional on the smaller 380 SE. Of course, air conditioning is standard equipment on this thing. And you got to dig how the distributor's up front for easy service, kind of like a big block Mopar or certain Buicks or AMC V8s or Fords. Again, you know, but again, this is its own design, designed purely in Germany. This is fuel injected. I'm pretty sure it's Bosch mechanical fuel injection. We can see the metal lines and the pump. Electronic fuel injection would come a little later on. And these cars do have coil spring front suspension, disc brakes all the way around. And these pretty much were the last word in luxury, short of like a Rolls-Royce or something like that. Again, BMW and Mercedes pretty much cornered the market on quality luxury cars then as now. Now the wheels on this are kind of interesting. Again, Bruno Sacco, chief designer for Mercedes-Benz from 1975 through 99, designed something called the C111 mid-engine Wankel supercar in the mid-70s. Well, it had wheels that looked like these, and so Bruno made sure that they trickled down to all Mercedes. This is the aluminum rim, again, very much looking like the C111 Wankel-powered supercar of the mid-70s. So again, a common design theme and language from top to bottom to bring all Mercedes vehicles into the fold and give them a common identity coming down the road. And of course, that was the grille and the tri-star were another part of the Mercedes-Benz legend. But inside, this one here is you know, it's got the leather interior, which is beautiful. And we can see this one has the floor-shifted 5-speed automatic transmission with a gate. And this one is, of course, a 380 SE, which is the 4-door. There were 818,063 of these built in that 12-year production run. But there was also a 2-door version, and this vintage issue of Motor Trend magazine from February of 1982 right here gives us a look at what a 2-door 380 SEC. Now, C means coupe, and there, of course, is the 2-door. Same basic vehicle, but again, with a 2-door body. Far less common. Again, there were 74,060 of these things made. 12 times more 4-doors were produced, but, you know, not a bad car. Again, it was a product of its time. Let's remember, this has the V8, the 3.8, same engine in this car, 155 horsepower, 196 foot-pounds of torque. Not much to write home about. Acceleration, 0 to 60 in 9.9 seconds. Top speed not available. Quarter mile 17.6 at 77 miles an hour. Dark days indeed. But again, you know, all-out acceleration is not really what these were all about. They were, you know, just high quality, comfortable cruising cars that held together pretty well. Now, something very cool, again, that Mercedes-Benz patented is something called Haptic Design, and it's shown here. Haptic design basically is design theory wherein switches and things feel in a way that you don't have to see them to work them. So here's the seat, the vertical and the horizontal here for the controls, Haptic Design. Now Mercedes had a patent on this into the early 1990s. When it expired, everybody from Bentley to Lamborghini to Ferrari to Ford and Chevrolet copied Haptic Design, where the shape of the control operates what it does, so you don't have to look at it. You drive down the road, you can feel that's the vertical. It's cool stuff, but Haptic Design, patented by Mercedes Benz. Bank vault construction on these things. Of course, here's the back seat area, just massive and very comfortable. Even the back seat has lumbar supports left and right, keeps you in place. And these are sporting vehicles. You know, I mean, these weren't meant for road racing, but they could certainly corner and be very flat and secure. Independent rear suspension. And this is kind of cool. This one is so original that it actually has, you can see through the window here, this is a first aid kit. See that right there? That's the International First Aid Signal. Let's open this up and see what we find. Let's see here. Yeah, look at this. Okay, this is the Mercedes Benz White Cross First Aid Kit, manufactured Mercedes Benz North America, New Rochelle, New York. Let's open it up and see what we have. Look at this, it's all still here. Here's the extra large plastic strip, absorbent cotton, Band-Aids, more plastic strips, sterile pads, first aid cream, antiseptic, let's see, no heart-lung machines, no, what do we have here? Wow, gauze padding. Look at this stuff. This is like Mercedes-Benz safety stuff. It's amazing this is still in here. Here's the Handbook of First Aid from Reader's Digest. Clearly Mercedes collaborated with Reader's Digest to create this. Dr. Leona Baumgartner was, of course, the consultant on that. But what an interesting thing that is to have that built in and baked in. Now these were not cheap. This would have been more expensive than a typical Cadillac. And again, Mercedes-Benz was pretty much the last word in a luxury daily driver, short of things like you know, Bentley and Rolls-Royce. So very, very original and pure. Let's take a peek in the trunk here and see what we find. And one thing that's kind of cool is the alphanumeric, you know, where Ford has the Torino, the Galaxy, Chevrolet, the Impala, the Bel Air. Mercedes didn't go there. They basically had 380 SE, 3.8 liter SE. There was also a 420, a 500, a 560, and so SE was the four-door. And again, beautiful design here with the horizontal homogeneity as Bruno Sacco would design into these things. So we go inside the trunk, and what goodies we find here. Oh boy, a lot of mold, some toolkits, an International Harvester Farmall license plate. Okay. And of course we know that Raymond Loewy designed this. If you look at that, that's a tractor with a guy sitting on it coming head-on, or International Harvester, you choose. But Raymond Loewy, not Bruno Sacco, a little different. But, oh, nice, some boots, Caterpillar boots. Caterpillar, of course, makes tractors and I guess boots this week. What do you know? Yeah, a lot of home care stuff, car care junk. What else? Oh, Zerk fittings, nice. You never know what you find in a vehicle. You have to be very observant. But Zerk fittings, of course, grease fittings to you and me, but these are spring-loaded balls. And what is this doing in the trunk? I have no idea. Okay, the plastic tub, severed head or gold bars? Let's see. Nothing. Well, water, so you will never go thirsty. That's cool for emergencies. Or maybe that's the bathroom. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so that's the story of the Mercedes 380 SE. Now, there's a thing called the SEL, L for Lange, which is German for long. They had a longer wheelbase, bigger back door, and were made for people who would be more driven than drive. The back seat was massive, and again, executives might buy those, or people with lots of kids. But the SEL was the long wheelbase version of the saloon or the coupe. Now, this is kind of a cool car. You know, it has the optional steel sunroof, and airbags were in their infancy, and here we have it right here. The steering wheel looks kind of fat. What is this big bun in the middle of it? Well, this is the SRS, or the Supplemental Restraint System. SRS, of course, that was a universal term. You see that on all airbag-equipped steering wheels, beginning in 1984, 3, thereabouts, but Mercedes was one of the first to adopt supplemental restraint systems. And again, very safe cars. I mean, look at the door latches on this thing, these monstrous, it's almost like a bank vault right there, this massive metal structure right there, into which this pin and latch insert. So basically a bulletproof car. And of course, little safety details, reflectors in the doors, so when you open them, oncoming cars can see that. You know, just thoughtful stuff like that Bruno Sacco and the rest of the Mercedes design team baked into every Mercedes Benz, from the 190, again, all the way up to the 560 SE and the top level stuff. So anyway, German cars can be cool too. This one is not a diesel, and we find one of those, we'll bring that up, because Mercedes diesels were everywhere in the Northeast as fuel and gasoline got to be $1 or $2 a gallon. People bought diesels in droves, and Mercedes was one of the bigger suppliers of them. So we'll try to find one of those. But in the meantime, this 380 SE gasoline V8 4-door saloon will have to do. But if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the C-Mags YouTube channel. There's lots more to come.